Hi everyone, happy day 4 of the Kids Documentary Kickstarter campaign. My name's Caroline Rothstein and I am one of the producers on the documentary. And I wanted to share with you how I, as an outsider, as someone who is not myself one of the kids from Kids, got involved in this project. So I'm a New York City-based spoken word poet, journalist, and arts educator. And I grew up in the Midwest, so I probably saw Kids for the first time at some point in middle school in somebody's basement. And it impacted my adolescence, no question. I watched it subsequently many times while growing up. And then out of the blue one day, I was in an editorial meeting for a digital publication called Narratively, and we were coming up with story ideas, and we wanted to talk about what it was like growing up in New York City. And I literally pulled out of my ass, like out of thin air, popped into my head, what about a story on what happened to the kids from Kids? And at that point, no one had ever written a retrospective before. It's the 20th anniversary now, so there are incredible oral histories popping up all over the media. But at the time, in early 2013, no one had ever covered that before. So my editors were like, go for it. And it took me about a month before I realized that the story was about this group of skateboarders. And I discovered the Harold Hunter Foundation. I got in touch with Jessica, who's now one of my co-producers. She's the executive director of the Harold Hunter Foundation. And she put me in touch with everyone, with Hamilton, with Peter BC. Now I'm working with all them on this project, and I quickly realized that the article I was writing was about chosen family and was about grief and loss. And I cannot believe I'm getting emotional, but you know, for me, I grew up in the mostly white, predominantly affluent suburbs of Chicago, and I had a lot of privilege and a lot of incredible luxury and access growing up. And I also experienced a tremendous amount of trauma. I had an eating disorder from ages 11 to 21. I was molested for a year and a half by a peer in high school, and I was raped my first month of college, and then a week later my younger brother was hit by a car and killed. And so for me, when I started interviewing people for this article, I saw a lot of my own story, right? And it was my skater friends that really helped me heal from a lot of the trauma I was experiencing in high school, and as well as all of my friends and my family. And so to have come across this crew of kids that had experienced marginalization, discrimination, oppression, and trauma and tragedy and grief and loss on all these levels, and took care of each other, whether it was with themselves as a family of choice or their families of kin, right? Because there were plenty of folks in this crew whose houses were the clubhouse, and their families of kin were taking care of each other. And so for me, as someone who has so relied on my family of kin and my family of choice to help me heal and survive from the shit I've been through, for me this, writing that article became very much about my brother and my best friend and several other friends who had died. And I saw a lot of my friends that stayed on the phone with me every night, my skater friends, as I dealt with a lot of my shit, especially in high school. And so I wrote this article, Legends Never Die, in Narratively, and I'm really grateful for the response it had. And I had no idea that 2.5 years later I'd be sitting on this park bench outside my apartment in Harlem, asking the world to get involved. And so what I'm saying today is that this story really is for all of us. And it's about healing, it's about survival, it's about triumph, it's about thriving. It's about supporting each other as a community. And so that's why we've turned to Kickstarter, so that it's a global community that helps tell a story about community. So, wherever you are in the world, if you've given to us so far, thank you for your support. Thank you for backing this campaign with a financial pledge. Thank you for spreading the word. And if you haven't, I hope you'll join this ever-growing family. We want you to be a part of it. I want you to be a part of it. And I'm honored to be a part of it. So thank you all.